Diablo Apox. Leap of Faith again by Anduin Vildanslo, and Medivh's gonna be able to finish him off. 3 kills, a triple for BFM. And now Diablo being surrounded. Fade falling to 25% health, Condemn, and Diablo's down. That might be the actual play of the game. They find another kill.
Apocalypse coming out though. Red team. Oh my god! Red team almost got him.
Axon jumping over to get some kills.
Oh, Ragnarok getting the concussion mine, knocking him out into the fray. Oh, the definition of unlucky.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the NGS Game of the Week pregame show. It's Murda here, joined by my man Stoic. Tonight we got Chili Mountain versus CPogX Fanclub. It's week 3. Stoic, how's it going, my man?
Good. Storm Div is chugging along, and I'm loving it. It's been great games so far.
They have been fantastic, right?
Yeah, there have been thinking about the some of these matchups coming down to 3% on the core, 1 or 2 basic attacks away.
Yep.
So many of these matches have been absolute down to the wire, such like photo finish.
Well, hopefully you guys tuned in last week. We had our pregame show, and Stoic was on the money with so much of that analysis, calling all those pregame picks. Made Slexy and I look pretty darn good during the main show. So Stoic, I'm excited to do this again for week number 3. Of course, we had Chili Mountain with us last week, and I think we did cast CPogX Fanclub earlier in the season as well. So we're getting our second look already at both of these teams, which is kind of cool for us here on the Game of the Week show.
Yeah. Some things have changed slightly, though, for both of these teams, coming in with a little bit of a different look. For example, Chili Mountain has done a little bit of role swapping, and we've seen a huge improvement in their play. I mean, they were a strong team coming into the qualifiers. But the Chili Mountain we've seen week over week has continued to improve and become a real force to be reckoned with. Go ahead.
Let's remind them of how they got here during the qualifying phase. I'm going to pull up our bracket all the way back from qualifier number 3, where Chili Mountain used to be known as We Take These, knocked off Regen 2-0 in the qualifier 3 grand finals. And they've been waiting around for matches ever since, but so far here in the Storm Division regular season, yet to win a match, Stoic.
Yeah, and honestly, it could have gone either way last week. It was great games. I mean, some of those were just down to the base race. You had what did say base race 2, Electric Boogaloo. With the role swapping, I mean, it seems like they kind of hit their stride and really made a good showing against VGM, which is, one of these top teams. So Chili Mountain, they're here to play. They're going to bring it definitely. Looking for that first win tonight will mean a lot as we go into, we're more than a third of the way through this regular season.
And to look at how the CPogX Fanclub got here, of course, they are the NGS Season 9 Heroic Division Grand Champions. They entered the qualifiers here for the Storm Division, ended up winning qualifier number 4, also over Regen. But this time it was 2-1. CPogX Fanclub defeats them in qualifier 4. That's how they earned their spot. And they're doing just a little bit better here on the season so far. In the regular season, CPogX Fanclub currently sitting at a 1-1 record after beating the other Koreans and losing to Team Alexander.
Yeah, both of these teams getting matched up with Team Alexander early on. So Team Alexander being that that gatekeeper in the way that Regen was trying to be in this qualifiers. The CPogX Fanclub, has they're really just showing in all of their games though the power of Noah, BKB, Legacy playing together for such a long time. And Tori's been on the squad for a minute, and Mysticles, who played with them back on the Team Good Guys days, which I just found out recently. This is a team that has lots of history. So I think they're going to feel like the favorites coming into tonight's matchup.
Awesome. Well, let's take a quick look at the current Storm Division standings as it stands as of tonight, as of right now. There may be a couple matches that haven't been reported. Actually, no, I think everything is reported. This is the first match of week 3, so look at that. Up-to-date standings. Congratulations, everyone, all those captains out there. It's Team Exodia currently sitting on top with the best record. They've won both of their matches, sit with a map score of 6-3. Just behind them is Team Alexander. They have 2 match wins with a map record of 6-4. But then you see CPogX Fanclub. They're playing tonight. They're in 4th place. And you have Chili Mountain, unfortunately, sitting at the bottom in a tie with can't think of name. So perhaps CPX Fanclub a bit of an overdog tonight.
I think that might be a little of the situation. I mean, Chili Mountain is so strong. If you look at the 323 rankings from our very own DB Smiley, puts Chili Mountain in that B tier. And if they want to stay honestly above that middle line, they're going to need to pull out a win tonight. They have it in them. I mean, it's definitely in their capabilities. But if they don't, I think this will be a pretty large upset that will shift the standings going forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's just unfortunate. Whenever you have to play against the best teams to start off the season, and you start off 0-2 in those games, you start kind of questioning your own abilities. Like, are we good enough to be here? Like, what's going wrong right now, team? But I think this is still a team that is worthy of the consideration, being in that B tier right now. Maybe even we see them start moving up towards the A tier as they can get some wins under their belt. And tonight is a big one for them, because if they drop to the CPX Fanclub, I have got to believe that DB Smiley will be dropping them down to that C tier and maybe even moving the CPogX Fanclub up to the B tier.
Yeah, I think you're totally right here, and I think this is beyond like the outside rankings. And you touched on this. Like, Chili Mountain needs this victory for themselves. Like, they've gone up against the top 2 teams in Storm Division, so 2 of the best coordinated HOTS teams. I think pulling out a win today is going to mean a lot for the morale of a team.
So, of course, tonight, with the start of week number 3, we have some interesting news coming out for not only the Storm Division, but also the rest of the Nexus Gaming Series. Both Diva and Gazlo are both live now. So we might end up getting to see the Diva or the Gazlo, which we haven't seen to this point. And maybe that makes a difference in some of these games we see this evening.
Yeah, here's my hot take. I think that Diva will likely make a showing in 3 games tonight, maybe more, I'm not sure, but I think Diva is going to be much more impactful in this Storm Division. Gazlo, possibly, but I think Diva definitely has made a real impact in the North American meta in HOTS, and so I think that Diva will definitely be showing up. I mean, both of these teams are willing to kind of flex in roles and comps and things, so I think that they're willing to push that issue and bring in the Diva and let her rip.
Any heroes you feel as though are starting to maybe fall off a bit, maybe played a bit better in the early portion of this regular season, but maybe heroes we won't be seeing as much here in week number 3?
Lucio and Muradin, actually, both of them were like surprisingly high pick rates in Storm Division. Like, Muradin was like 50% or something. Both have dropped significantly in week 2. Both hardly saw play. And in like to take their spot, interestingly enough, Cassia and Johanna have risen really high. Neither of them made a big splash. Both of them had a huge rise in games in week 2. I imagine that week 3 we'll see similarly. Cassia, Johanna, kind of hanging around where they kind of their pick rate from week 2, while I imagine Lucio and Muradin kind of fade off a little bit.
Now, I know there's at least a couple heroes we've been seeing a ton of, whether it's picks, whether it's bans, Garrosh and Chromie. Where do you feel they sit right now? I know Chromie had a bit of struggles getting some wins, but last week on the Game of the Week, we got to witness Chromie's first win of the season here in the Storm Division. So any thoughts on those 2 heroes, Garrosh and Chromie?
Yeah, both Garrosh and Chromie have sub 50% win rates in Storm Division. But they are top picks or top bans across this. I mentioned this last week, and I stand by it, that if you see these, these super contested heroes, like the Garrosh, Chromie, or Ana, for example, sometimes a team will have to make a sacrifice in the drafting phase to get that hero, and oftentimes that can leave them vulnerable. And so this is why the drafting becomes so important here. I expect Garrosh and Chromie to be 100% participation in all of the matches tonight. I mean, banned or picked, most likely banned, even with those low win rates. Ana the same way. Expected to be banned for most of this series.
Yeah, we've seen a ton of Ana. I mean, in my opinion, she's the one healer that if you let through a quality support player for a team is just going to absolutely take control of the match, shut you down. You try to engage, big sleep dart in your face, bye-bye. We're out of here, or we're going to turn this fight right around on you. well, I think one of the scariest supports. And of course, you have a healer like Deckard Cain, who follow-up CC maybe better than anyone. And with the initiation even you can bring with the stay a while and listen, setting up so many plays. We've seen a lot of Diablo paired in with that APOC stay a while and listen combo is just so nasty. And it's been something we've seen a ton of so far in Storm Division.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on some of these Storm Division picks, specifically the healers. The Deckard is actually interesting because it's a pick that both Legacy and Mason Blaze, they're willing to jump on that Deckard. And interestingly, like Stukov is also still up there, but I think that Anduin is also going to be another contested pick. Both Legacy and Mason Blaze like playing the Anduin. They both have really good Leap of Faiths. Saw some of those just even today in the in-houses. So I think that I think Anduin's actually another healer, to look out for in tonight's match.
So up on your screen right now, I think a lot of you at home enjoyed this last week where we pulled up our top 3 heroes for each role. And tonight you can see we're selecting Ana, Deckard Cain, and Anduin as our top 3 healers to look out for here in this matchup. We've already mentioned all 3, so I think it's time to start taking a look at the tank position next, Stoic, where we decided to settle on Garrosh, Johanna, and ETC. Any words on any of these 3?
Yeah. BKB here. A lot of other tank players are ignoring Johanna. BKB showing what the Blessed Shield bot can really do in week 2 here. And so I think that definitely Diablo could make a showing and he can make a splash, the scary Lord of Terror that he is. But I imagine the BKB will pull out the Johanna a couple of times in tonight's match.
So for the solo lane, this is a bit interesting because, of course, we got to see Chili Mountain last week and we got to see some absolutely beastly Yrel, but we ended up keeping our solo lane selections the exact same as our week number 2 matchup. It's still Yrel, Malthael, and Blaze. Has anything changed in your opinion for any of these 3, or are they just still that dominant?
I think that they're really still that dominant. Here's the thing interesting, though. Tori is a strong solo lane player, which means to be that, you have to be good at Yrel. Zanaris, who's recently swapped spots with Mason Blaze for Chili Mountain, I think it seems to me from his play prefers the Malthael, which is interesting because there's the classic, Yrel is so great, but Malthael counters Yrel, so we might see some of that. There might be a play even for contesting Yrel or letting Yrel through to pick up that Malthael to counter. And then Blaze is just super solid and should always be there.
But we want to reserve our ability to think that Nintori might actually be picking up some Lost Vikings tonight as well. What are your thoughts on Balog, Olaf, and Eric?
Played it twice to pretty good effect in against Team Alexander, so it's definitely a possibility. I think that the Lost Vikings, their new changes make them a menace. I mean, for a competent player to play the Vikings, it is an annoyance in the early game to have to deal with that, and then it becomes a force to be reckoned with late game.
All right, our final role to take a look at, of course, is the DPS position, where Chromie remains one of the most picked and banned heroes in the entire league. We also picked up Greymane here and Raynor as our other 2 choices. Stoic, will we actually see a Chromie game tonight, or does she just get banned every single one?
I don't know. I think she probably gets banned every single game. And as weird as it is, I think Roger is just Greymane. Every game that he can play Greymane, he's going to play Greymane. That's the shtick. Maybe Cassia here and there, but it's really Greymane. Interestingly enough, I think the Chromie is just going to be banned. She's just hard to deal with. Has that huge burst. The Raynor's on there because Raynor has just been showing as such a solid, consistent range DPS in Storm Division. I mean, there's even a chance that we see Raynor banned. I mean, Raynor got bans last week in week 2 of Civ. It's a weird world that we live in, but Raynor could see bans this week as well.
All right, so that brings us to our final portion of the show, Stoic. It's time for us to make some pre-game predictions. Who's got your money tonight if you had to pick here between Chili Mountain and the CPogX Fanclub?
Both these teams come out of a loss, but I'm going to give this one to Chili Mountain 3-2 over CPogX Fanclub. I think we're in for a long 5-game series that's going to be a brutal slugfest. Yep. And we're going to see some fun stuff, but I think we're definitely going Game 5 where Chili Mountain ekes out that victory.
I love both these teams. I think they got some quality players on both sides. I do think it will be a 3-2 score, but Stoic, I'm going to take the other end of that one. CPogX Fanclub in 5 games, I think will be our final score. So we have a split decision here, Stoic. And last week, I think I barely beat you. You had the 3-0. I thought it was going to be a 3-1 or 3-2, and it was a 3-2.
I think the price is right and Slexia takes it.
Okay, that's fair enough. Stoic, any final words before we head on out of here?
No, I think we're in for a great series. I think that we're going to see some. I would put my money that we're going to see some fun stuff.
All right. Well, if you want to follow Stoic, head on over to Twitter at HLS Stoic. Find them on Twitch as well, twitch.tv/HLS Stoic. Be sure to sit tight. We got 15 minutes or so until our match will begin. It's going to be starting at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 p.m. Pacific. Don't go anywhere. Enjoy the break, and we hope to see you guys back in about 15. Until then, I've been Murda. He's been Stoic, and we'll see you guys in just a bit.